Okay, students, we are reading the page number 21 of the story, The Funeral. 4 days later, a funeral started from Canterbury Chase at about 11 o'clock at night. The funeral carriage was drawn by 8 black horses, each of which had large white feathers on its head. The coffin was covered with a purple cloth with the name Canterbury on it in gold. The servants, carrying lighted torches, walked by the side of the carriage. Lord Canterbury had come from Wales for the funeral, and he sat in the first carriage with Virginia. Then came the American businessman and his wife. Then Washington, the young Duke of Cheshire, and the twins. In the last carriage was Mrs. Umney. She had been frightened by the ghost for more than 50 years of her life, so they thought that she would like to see him buried. So students, finally there was the funeral of the Canterbury ghost, that is Sir Simon, at about 11 o'clock at night, and Mr. Otis and his family did all the arrangements for the funeral. Lord Canterbury also came to attend the funeral. The Otis family, Duke of Cheshire, and Mrs. Umney all were sitting in the carriage along with the coffin of Sir Simon, wrapped in purple cloth with his name written in gold. They were travelling or heading towards the Garden of Death. Okay, students, continuing the story. A deep grave had been dug in the corner of the churchyard, just under the old yew tree. As the coffin was being put into the grave, Virginia stepped forward and laid on it a large cross made of white and pink almond flowers. As she did so, the moon came out from behind a cloud. In the wood, a bird began to sing. She thought of what the ghost had told her about the Garden of Death, and her eyes filled with tears. The next morning, before Lord Canterbury left, Mr. Otis talked to him about the jewels that the ghost had given to Virginia. They were really beautiful and so valuable that Mr. Otis felt Virginia should not accept them. "My lord," Mr. Otis said, "it is quite clear to me that these jewels belong to your family." So students, as you can see from the picture, a carriage with a coffin of Canterbury ghost. You can see written and horses with feathers. In the front seat you can see a man and a woman sitting. One is Lord Canterbury himself, who just came from Wales just to attend the funeral. The next lady was Virginia. Virginia put a large cross made of flowers on the coffin. At the same time, she recalled the words of the ghost that there will be moonlight and cool breeze will blow and yew tree will spread its branches and birds will sing sweetly in the Garden of Death all night. She wept quietly. The next morning, Mr. Otis told Lord Canterbury about the jewel box which was given to Virginia by the ghost and insisted him to take it. Okay, now reading page number 23 of your story. So, found in your house. I must ask you to take them back to London with you. It would be impossible for me to allow any member of my family to keep anything so valuable. Then come to the bottom heading, a happy ending. Lord Canterbury listened quietly to the businessman's speech, and when he had finished, he shook his hand. "My dear sir," he said, "your daughter was very kind to Sir Simon and did something very important for him. My family and I are very grateful to her for her kindness and for her courage. Of course, the jewels are hers. I believe that if I took them from her, that wicked old man would be out of his grave in 2 seconds and come haunting me again. When Virginia grows up, I expect she will be pleased to have some pretty things to wear. Besides, you forgot, Mr. Otis, that you bought the furniture and the ghost when you bought the house, so anything that belonged to the ghost must be yours also." So, students, when Mr. Otis asked Lord Canterbury to take the box of jewels which was given to Virginia by the ghost, Lord Canterbury refused. Lord Canterbury also thanked Virginia for being so kind towards the ghost and for being so brave to help the ghost sleep in the Garden of Death. Now please come to the last page of this story, page number 24. Some years later, Virginia married the Duke of Cheshire. They had been friends since they were children. After their wedding, the young couple went down to Canterbury Chase. On the day after their arrival, they walked over to the lonely little churchyard by the woods. Virginia had brought with her some lovely roses which she placed upon Sir Simon's grave. They stood looking down at it for some minutes. Then Duke said, "Virginia, a wife should have no secrets from her husband." "Dear Cecil, I have no secrets from you." "Yes, you have," he answered, smiling. "You have never told me what happened to you when you were locked up with the ghost." "I have never told anyone, Cecil," said Virginia slowly. "I know that, but you should tell me." "Please don't ask me, Cecil. I cannot tell you. Poor Sir Simon, he made me see what life is and death and why love is stronger than both." The Duke kissed his wife. "You can have your secret as long I have your love," he whispered. "You shall always have that, Cecil, and you will tell our children some day, won't you?" Virginia blushed. So, students, at the last, the ghost was buried in the Garden of Death, and the Otis family began to live a normal life. Virginia was then married to the Duke of Cheshire, who was her childhood friend. One day, they went to put flowers on the grave of Sir Simon, that is a Canterbury ghost. At that time, her husband asked her about the journey Virginia had with the ghost. She excused to tell him because it was a secret, but she told that the ghost made her see life and death and the importance of love over everything. The couple was happy and satisfied with each other. So the story ended up with happy ending. Then that's all.